What Mikel Arteta has done at Arsenal is outrageously brilliant. He has built the best team in the league, and by some distance, he has built the best defence in the league. A 1-0 win against Crystal Palace after major European exploits is simply so impressive. Palace are a good side. They are a resilient side. They are a side led by a top-tier manager, and they are a side capable of causing Arsenal a problem. But it was light work for Arsenal. Arsenal were professional. They were almost on autopilot, and it is such an impressive result. I don't think people are talking about this result in the manner that they should. People are focusing more on the Atletico Madrid 4-0. I would argue that beating Crystal Palace 1-0 at home in the league off the back of playing in Europe is actually the more symbolic result. Get the job done. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Winning ugly is a skill, and it is a skill that Arsenal haven't had enough of lately. I made this exact point when we were talking about the Atletico Madrid result. I spoke about the quality of goal that Victor Gyökeres scored. I said that they were ugly goals. One of the goals was in fact a tackle that ended up in the back of the net. And I was saying that Arsenal fans should be over the moon. Him doing that is so much more valuable than him banging in a 30-yard volley. The reason it's better is because it's sustainable. And the reason it's better is because it's where Arsenal have been lacking for so long. Now, with all of this in mind, I've got a question that I need to ask you about Mikel Arteta. I'm going to come on to this later in the video, but I do not understand why some content creators are so hostile towards Mikel Arteta. It feels like there is a genuine venom when they discuss him, a genuine desire to see him fail. They seem to dislike him. And I don't know why. I want to talk about that later in the video. But for now, let's just focus on exactly what he's built. Arsenal are now a serious football club. They are a club capable of winning multiple top-tier levels of silverware. They are favourites for both the Premier League and the Champions League. And one of the major reasons that they are favourites for both of those competitions is because they persevered with their manager. I'm a Chelsea fan, and I am desperate for Arsenal not to win any silverware this year. I am preoccupied with Arsenal not winning any silverware this year. I would sacrifice basically anything for Arsenal to not win any silverware this year. But, sadly, I have had to rationalise how I will cope with the almost guaranteed success of Arsenal Football Club. How I will cope with the inevitable success of Arsenal this year. Now, when you want to understand a football club, 99% of the time you need to ask their fans, the fans of the club that you want to understand are the lifeblood of that club. They are the heartbeat of that club. They are the reason that that club exists. And they will tell you more about that club than anyone else can. But there is a 1% of the time when sometimes listening to somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight, who perhaps isn't so ingrained in the culture of the club, it's valuable. And in this exact example, I think I can shed some light. Arteta has taken Arsenal from a joke, from a punchline, from a not serious club to one of the most serious clubs in the world. And as a result, I am a great case study of what it means. I have to live in a world where Arsenal will succeed. At the end of last season, I truly believed that Arsenal were going to win a European Cup. Do you know how infrequently I've been scared of Arsenal actually winning silverware? Arteta is the reason that I now truly believed that they were going to win it. The fact that they didn't, it's sort of not the point I'm making. Okay, they fell in the semi-final to Paris Saint-Germain, and on some level, you could almost celebrate that or whatever, but that isn't really the point I'm making. The point I'm making is I've disregarded Arsenal's challenge in major European silverware for years. Since probably 06, 04, I thought they could do something. But since Wenger's reign, I've dismissed them. I'm not dismissing them anymore. That elevation simply demonstrates quite how brilliant Mikel Arteta is. They've gone from a club that can't win silverware, and I would laugh at, and I would bet anyone, and I would say they will never win anything. Now, I'm not taking that bet. From players like Socrates and Torreira, Aubameyang, to the squad that they have now, the elevation is simply beyond recognition. And do you know what? I have to give him credit here, Arteta, because on some of those examples, I thought he got it wrong. You know, when he sacrificed his front line, he got rid of arguably his best player at the time in Aubameyang because he was a disruption, because of his conduct. I thought that was ludicrous. I thought that you have to persevere with one of your best players. The responsibility of a good manager is to coax a performance out of your players, even if they are slightly disruptive. I thought it was a mistake. How wrong I was. Even sacrificing top 4 qualification that season in order to make the statement. It was bold management, brave management from Arteta, and he's paying dividends for it now. But my question that I touched on earlier is actually this. I had an experience of sort of match day Arsenal yesterday. by accident. As close as I want to get to match day Arsenal, I was in yesterday. Unless Arsenal playing Chelsea, either at Stamford Bridge or the Emirates, I want to be nowhere near it. Yesterday, I was exposed to genuine Arsenal match day atmosphere. Genuine home fans. I was immersed in the culture, purely accidentally. I was at Highbury and Islington Station at the wrong time, and I have to go to King's Cross. So I have to go one stop from Highbury and Islington to King's Cross Station. That train, naturally, is packed with Arsenal fans. The entire train was reverberating to that song about Super Mikel Arteta, driving me mad. I'm on the train, I'm terrified, I think I'm going to get beaten up. I put my hood up, I'm like, please leave me alone, please don't recognise me, please don't notice me. Oh God, please let this train hurry up. It's a really long stop between King's Cross and Highbury and Islington. You might not realise how long, and so you think you're going to get walloped by an Arsenal fan. Anyway, I stayed there, I'm minding my own business, nobody notices me. But the train is reverberating to the Arteta song. Everybody's in joyful spirits, everybody is over the moon, and everybody in unison. Every man, woman and child and dog on that train was celebrating the brilliance of Mikel Arteta. That was my exposure to Arsenal matchday home atmosphere. That isn't how it comes across online. And that isn't the vibe that I get about Arsenal fans online. And the reason that I ask this is because what's the difference? It feels like some prominent Arsenal fans don't rate the contribution of Mikel Arteta. And I ask this because I'm genuinely interested. I'm genuinely trying to find out a way. I like this YouTube channel because it exposes me to different opinions. I love reading your comments. But can anyone help me understand and comprehend why there is not the universal love, not the unilateral love aimed at Mikel Arteta online as there was on that train, as there was at Highbury and Islington Station after a match? For the record, this isn't me calling anyone out. I'm far too old and I'm far too ugly to be getting involved in some unedifying YouTube aggro. It's not that at all. I genuinely am interested from Arsenal fans. What do you think is going on? Is the feeling online actually the feeling, or is the feeling that I was exposed to yesterday actually the feeling? Big Arsenal accounts, prominent Arsenal fans, hostile to Arteta. That's what I see online. That isn't what I felt on the train. So I'm interested. If you can shed some light, please do. Also, while I've got you, if you are enjoying this video, even just 1%, would you do me a favour? Give it a like, give it some hype points, and please click subscribe. It really does help me out, and I would love to welcome you into this community. Going to be going live a lot, and I would hope that you could be there. So go on, click subscribe, put the bell on, and I'll see you on the next live. So I look forward to seeing your replies on that. But from the outside looking in, it feels to me that Arteta's the governor. He has taken Arsenal from Leno in goal and Socrates at the back to me being able to ask this question and it be serious. Whether you disagree with the question or not isn't the point. I can ask this question and it is a totally legitimate question. Is this Arsenal's best defence ever? The answer, in my opinion, is no. But the fact that I can ask that question actually makes the point about how well Mikel Arteta has done. My caveat to that, if you want to know my opinion, would be that it can't be Arsenal's best defence until it's won a league. If it's won a league, then maybe we have to revisit this and actually drill down into it. But you cannot compare a team that is a brilliant defence that doesn't win a league with a team that was a brilliant defence and didn't win the league. But it feels like the league is inevitable. It feels like it's coming. I don't think the title race is over, not by a long stretch, but it does feel like Arsenal were the front runner. And when you think if they were to win a league, then you start looking at the defence, you start looking at the depth of the defence, and you start then thinking about what George Graham built. It's comparable, isn't it? And now it comes back to Mikel Arteta. So wise. You know, his tutor, his hero, I imagine, in a managerial sense, Pep Guardiola, he almost reverted away from Guardiola. Guardiola reinvented the wheel. But apart from Guardiola's teams, basically every single team that has ever won the league was built from the back. It's about the foundation at the back. Think of every team. Look, Guardiola's different. Guardiola plays by his own rules. Guardiola built a team from the front up and they won the league. But apart from Guardiola, every single team that I can think of that has won the league has won it because of their rigid defence. George Graham's offside trap won them the league. Jose Mourinho's 15 goals conceded won us the league. Antonio Conte reverting to 5 at the back won us the league. Virgil van Dijk won Liverpool the league. Now, obviously, with every example that I've just used, there are other players, other contributors. Of course there are. But a resolute defence is always at the epicentre of every title-winning team. That is the point I'm making, and that is the point that I truly believe in. And Arteta's team is no brilliant. And the way that he has reinvented himself this season even since this season has started, I have been so impressed with him. I felt like he got it wrong at the beginning of the season. I felt like he was slightly cowardly in various games at the beginning of this season. But that has gone out the window now. It felt like there was almost a coming-of-age moment at St James's Park where he realised that you have to go for the jugular. You have to go and claim a title. And he remodelled his team, he remodelled his approach, and he is reaping the rewards. Think about what he brings to this team. His ruthless excellence, his ability to learn on the job, his pragmatism, his man management skills, and crucially, his ability to recognise a good player and help turn that good player into a great player. Because of everything that has happened this season, it does now feel on some level that it's Arsenal's title to lose. Arsenal are top of the league. Second, third and fourth are Bournemouth, Tottenham and Sunderland, none of whom can win the league. Manchester City this season have already lost 3 games. They are the Haaland team. It's so ironic, isn't it? Pep Guardiola once called Tottenham the Harry Kane team. And now it is so true about his own men. If Haaland doesn't score, City do not win. If Haaland doesn't perform, City do not perform. If you stop Haaland from doing anything in a game, you stop City from doing anything in a game. Liverpool are still well and truly in it, but they have lost 4 games in a row. That's the same amount that they lost in the entirety of last season. And who else are the contenders? I mean, we're useless. We are run by morons. And we have Mr. Average himself in the dugout. I mean, Tottenham are third in the league, but they just don't have the depth. They're obviously not going to win the league. Basically, when you analyse it, nobody is as reliable as Arsenal. Nobody is as efficient as Arsenal, and nobody is as guaranteed as Arsenal. And they are grinding out wins. They're finding a way to win. Anybody that is flagging their relative lack of goals as something to worry about is totally missing the point. They have goals galore in that team. Okay, it's not coming to fruition at the moment, but they're winning games. And when you think about the players, the depth, the amount of players that they have to come back from injury, goals are never going to be a problem. And even if they are only scoring 1 or 2 a game, if you aren't conceding any, it's always okay. And then you look at the signings. Eberechi Eze, the goal that he scored was exactly what he was supposed to do. The reason why Arsenal are a bigger force this year is because they went out, they spent the money, they got hold of Eberechi Eze, even when it looked like the deck was stacked against them. When you sign a player of that quality, what are you signing for? Why are you signing him? You are signing him to do exactly what he did in that very game against Crystal Palace. Pull something out the bag. A tight game, a tricky game, an awkward game, a game against an elite level manager. Somebody needs to do something spectacular. Somebody needs to do something totally unpredictable. And Eberechi Eze from the edge of the box decides to do a Paolo Di Canio-esque karate kick into the back of the net against his former club. How inevitable was that? The only thing more inevitable than that, in fact, was the fact that it came via an Arsenal set piece. Now, this is something else that I just do not understand the narrative around. I had the radio on this morning when I was driving my kid to my mum's. They're talking about Arsenal and they're saying, are they over-reliant on set pieces? Are Arsenal going to actually struggle because they are so reliant on set pieces? People are using Arsenal's brilliance at set pieces as a stick with which to bash them. And I think, are you dumb? Arsenal scoring goals galore from set pieces is something that they should be very proud of. Arsenal scoring goals from set pieces is something that we should be very terrified of. It is the sign of a good team that you can always find a way to win. Set pieces are a huge part of football, and it is the sign of a good manager to focus on them. It's also the sign of a terrible manager to not focus on them. Cue Ange Postecoglou. That was actually brilliant, wasn't it? When Postecoglou said he didn't care about set pieces, as if it was something to be proud of. You're like, no, care about them because they can win you league titles, as Mikel Arteta clearly understands. But again, anyone talking about Arsenal being a modern-day crazy gang, trying to say it in a negative way, big man up front, relying on throw-ins, relying on set pieces, these are all brilliant things. There are enough masterful footballers in that squad to play an expansive game of football. But now they can do both. They have a battering ram centre forward, but they also have geniuses like Bukayo Saka. The bottom line here is Mikel Arteta is getting it right. And Arsenal persevering with their manager for such a long time when there were various moments when it looked like he could be sacked, losing at home to Burnley all those years ago and whatever else. The title race undoubtedly still has twists and turns to come. Write off Liverpool at your peril is my opinion. But it is now a 2-horse race and Arsenal are the front runner. Let's see how Arsenal cope with being the leaders, being out in front. They will now be the team, rather than being the team that's chasing, they will be the team that is being hunted. The horse and the hounds. It's now Arsenal who are going to hear the hooves galloping behind them. Can Arteta live with that pressure? I hope not, but I'm inclined to say he can. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Really do appreciate you watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like. Please click subscribe. And I look forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments below. Have a lovely day. Ta-da.